Make sure that you turn in your homework in your correct spot on the metal shelf into the front of the room. And grab the notes from off the table. It should be notes for section 2-6. 2-6. On your computers, if you go to the book website and you look at lesson 6 of module 2, so module 2, lesson 6, the Explorer there shows you a little bit of this. You might need this because this is a part of geometry that involves a lot of spatial thinking and some artistic talent. And that's something that I do not have. So I'm going to try to go over it and teach it to you as best as I can, but know that even if you get confused, know that Ebersole's confused about some of this stuff too. He's not very good at it. This would be something better for an art teacher or something maybe, because what we're going to be dealing with is a certain kind of drawing. And what it is, it's representing three-dimensional figures. I can represent a three-dimensional figure doing what we did last time, which was drawing nets. So fill in your notes what you need to fill in on this part. Drawing nets, that part I can do, but an orthographic drawing, I'm not very good at it. So we'll try to do the best that we can. And if I'm not expecting that you're going to be spectacular at it either. If you are, that's great. If you're not, then hopefully we'll get a little bit out of it. When representing a real-world object on a screen or print, you're using 2 dimensions to represent a 3-dimensional figure. 3-dimensional figures can be represented in 2 dimensions using nets, which we did a little bit of last time, and we're going to do more of this time, or an orthographic drawing. If you see a 3-dimensional object from only one viewpoint, you may not know its true shape. The 2-dimensional views of the top, left, front, and right sides of an object are called the orthographic drawing. So we look at this one. If I look at this shape that I have right here, sorry, I'm going to change this to pen. If I look at this shape, I want to know what shape that is. And this is the top view. So if I'm looking down at something and I see that, what I'm actually looking at is a pyramid. So that's what you're going to have to be able to do, is use your imagination and say, okay, if this is just the top view, if I look straight down at this pyramid, looking straight down that way, this is what I would see. That's what an orthographic drawing deals with. Fill in what you need to fill in on this. To make a model from an orthographic drawing, or to make an orthographic drawing, it's 4 steps. Create the base of the model. You start with the base that matches the top view, so look at the top view first. And draw that base from that. Use the front view of the orthographic drawing. Highlighted segments indicate breaks. What that means, what a break is like when you're looking at a view and maybe one part goes in farther than another part, or one part sticks out farther than another part. Well, if you're just looking at that one view, you really can't see the depth of the object. So you're just looking at, if we're looking at that view, there's going to be a break there. So you're going to have to show that break on your drawing. Use the left view of the orthographic drawing. Use the left view to find where the breaks in the front view are occurring. And then you check your model. Use the right view and the breaks in the previous views to confirm that you have made the correct figure. So 4 steps. And again, I'm not real good at this. I'm not expecting that you're going to be spectacular at it. Many of you may be a whole lot better at it than I am, because it depends a lot on how artistic you are and how you can perceive things from 2 dimensions to 3 dimensions. So it might be a whole lot easier for you guys than it is for me. So we want to make a model of the figure from the orthographic drawing shown. This is our orthographic drawing here. And all we're going to do, first thing you're going to do is you're going to take this top view. And that tells me when I'm looking at that top view, that means I'm looking straight down at this object. I'm up flying in the air and I'm looking straight down at this object. So that top view tells me that in one part of it, maybe I draw it a little bit this way, a little bit of slant, try to make it look like it's 3-dimensional. There's 4 blocks, 2 blocks, and then 1 block. Oops, if I could draw better. Back here like this, so that's looking straight down at it. That's sort of what it looks like. And again, these, the yellow things, I know it's probably hard to see. It's not really easy to see on your notes there, but the yellow things are telling that there's a break there. So, in other words, maybe this stack here is taller than this stack, or vice versa. The left view, that's if we're looking at the left-hand side of it, and you got to be careful with the left view and the right view, because when we do those, they sort of, from what I see here, it sort of spins around, because that's sort of on this back side back here. If this is the front view, this would be the right view. If I was standing out here and looking straight at it, that would be the right view. This would be the front view if I was standing out here looking at it. Well, the left view sort of spins around when we make it into this drawing. So in other words, this part over here ends up being this part over here, and this part, when I'm looking at it from the left side back here, this part ends up being right here. And the right view does the same thing. If I'm looking at the right, it sort of spins around, so you want to be careful when you're looking at that. So create the base of the model, that's what we're going to do first here. The base of the model is going to look something like that. That's sort of what I said up here. I can do that part from this top view. I can sort of understand that. That's not real hard. It's not real spatial. You're just saying, all right, I got 4 blocks here, 2 blocks here, 1 block here. So 4 blocks here, 2 here, 1 here. Remember, this is looking, the top view is looking straight down at it. Next thing, use the front view of the drawing. The highlighted segments indicate breaks, so that's the things that are yellow on my PowerPoint here. Indicate breaks in the surface where the columns or rows or blocks appear to be different depths. So it's either, higher or lower or back in farther. The front left side is 3 blocks high. The front middle and right side is 1 block high. Highlighted segments indicate breaks in the surface where columns or rows or blocks appear at different depths. The highest block in the front left column is farther back than the 2 blocks below it. The 3rd block on the front right is farther back than the first 2 blocks in the row. That's the breaks. So they're telling you, hey, this one is, there's 2 blocks here, but one of them's farther back. And so it looks something like this when you're looking at from the right over here. If you're standing out here somewhere, looking at it from the right view, then we know that it goes back in. So we have a break there, we had that break. I'm sorry, if we were on the front view. We're on the front view. So on the front view, we're looking here, there's a break here. And then a break here. So that's telling us we're going back in here. Step 3, use the left view. The first column is 2 blocks high, the second column is 1 block high, the third column is 3 blocks high, the fourth column is 2 blocks high. Remove unnecessary blocks. So we may have drawn in some blocks that shouldn't have been there, which we did on that last one. So the left view, and again, notice here on the left view, it's sort of, we're standing back here looking at it. That's the left view on the sort of, I don't want to say on the back side because this is the back, but on this side of it, so it sort of spins around. Notice there's 2, then 3, then 1, then 2 high, so 2, then 3, then 1, then 2, because it spins around. It sort of flips sides. So if you're back here looking, if you're standing back there on that side looking at it, this is your left side and this is your right side. So when we redraw it and we're looking straight at the whiteboard here, this is the left side and this is the right side. So that's what it does, it sort of spins around there. We check everything, see where all our breaks are and stuff, and make sure that our drawing is correct. Notice here on this top view, you have a break here, you have a break here, you have a break here and here. That's just telling you when you're looking straight down at it from the top, we got 4 blocks going along this way. There's a break right here, it goes down farther right here. Then there's another break here because it goes up farther. And then there's another break right here. So you got a break here, break here, break here. And then you also have a break where it goes down from that block to there, and that's that break. If you're looking at it from the left, that's this view. You really don't have any breaks because everything just looks, if we're just looking at from the back side, we can't see those 3 blocks there. So all we see is that there is no breaks there. It doesn't go up or down. It's just, that's what it looks like. Then from the front view, that's if we're standing over here, this part goes up 3 blocks. That's the tallest, is 3 blocks. But here we only have 2. So that means this 3rd block is farther back in than these 2 are. So that's why it has a yellow part here or break there. And then we have 2 blocks here. And then it has a break there because it goes back in to get to this block. And then the right view, if we're standing out here, and I think I said earlier that the right view sort of spins around. It doesn't really spin around because the right view, if I'm looking at it this way, this is my right, that's my left. Well, that's going to stay the same when we draw it on this whiteboard. This is going to be my left, this is on the right, and so we're looking straight at it here, going this direction. And when we see that, this first part here, 2 blocks high, That's that part. Then we got something that's 1 block high. Then this next column is 3 blocks high. And this one is 2 blocks high. And then we put in our breaks. Well, if we're looking out here at this block right here, that next block goes back in, so there's a break here. Then, if we're standing and looking at straight down this block, well, it drops back in right here, so there's a break there, because this block is out farther than this one, and then on this other side over here, it drops back in, so there's another break right there saying that this 1 block right here is out farther than either of these two. And this is our orthographic drawing of that shape. Now I'm sure some of you are probably confused to death, others of you think, oh man, this stuff's easy. Sort of works on the way that your mind works, and my mind doesn't work very well with this stuff because I'm not very good at the artistry of it and the spatial sense of it. Some of you may be real good at it. Let's try this one. Make a model of the orthographic drawing. So we have the top view, the left view, the front view, and the right view. The ones that I would look at if I was doing this, for me, I'm looking at the top view and the right view at first, because those are the ones that make sense to me. Again, remember the left view sort of turns around. It's turned around compared to the shape. The top view tells me that if I'm looking straight down on it, just the base just has 4 blocks in it. So the base just has 4 blocks in it. Well, when I look at this, I notice that this one, the base is going to end up having 5 blocks, or no, 6 blocks. This one, the base has 4. This one, the base has 8 blocks in it. That's the base down here at the bottom. And this one looks like it has 4 blocks in it. So if I know the base has 4 blocks, I can say that, hey, it's either got to be B or it's got to be D. Then if I look at the right view, so if I'm standing on the right of this object, wherever I'm standing at, I'm on the right side here, whichever one it is, this one or this one, I'm standing on the right side, this is what it's going to look like to me. Then the left view, remember, it just turns around. So if I was standing back on the left side, back on that side of it, looking at it, or on this side, back here looking at that back side there, as far as my screen goes, it would be turned around. So this would be the left, and this would be the right side. And then the front view right here tells me that there's a break right there. So if I'm standing on the front, if I go up 2 blocks, there's a break there. So either it gets deeper or it gets farther out. Well, if I look over here, if I go up 2 blocks, that'd be right there. There is no break there. It stays the same depth. So this one, the answer has to be B. These 4 pictures are the orthographic drawing for that shape. Make an orthographic drawing of the figure shown. So we're going to do that. The orthographic drawing for this. Again, if I was looking at the top view, just looking, I'm up here flying above it, looking straight down at it. Thing I would draw, I see 3 blocks here, 3 blocks there, 2 blocks, and then another block sticking out here. So if I'm drawing that, I got 3 blocks. The drawing's not real great. Another 3 blocks. Then I got 2 blocks. Then one block is sticking off of this one right here. If I'm looking straight down at it, well, there's going to be a break this block down to that block. So there's going to be a break right there. And there's going to be a break right there. And if I was standing up here, it's going to be a break right there. So that should be the top view. Now this one I just drew the views there. If I was looking at it from the right, notice, or from the left, if I'm on the back side, if I'm on this side over here, all I see are 3 blocks and 3 blocks. I don't see none of these blocks. So that's for the left view. Then the front view would be me standing out here. Well, from here I'd see these 2 blocks. I'd see this block and this block, so another 2 blocks. And then I would see, on this one I would see 1 block, then 1 block. And the right view, me standing out here, you'd be looking straight back at it here. Well, you'd see 2 blocks here, 2 blocks here, 2 blocks there. So it would just look something like that. Now I started to put the brakes in it and stuff. I didn't put the brakes in it on this part. So we have all the views, now we need to put the brakes in it. So I drew this one. I'm hoping I'm right here. Looks like there should be, let's see, how did they draw it here? They got it sideways for me, so looks like they have a brake here, here, and then here. And then for the left view, which would be this one back here, there is no brakes, because it just looks like 6 solid blocks. I can't see any of this stuff back here. Then the front view, if I'm looking here, I got my 2 blocks, nothing in that one. But then I go to this one, and it breaks back into here. And should break it back into there. And then the right view, there's going to be a break. If I'm looking at it from the right here, it looks like there's going to be a break here. And here. And maybe here. And here. And across here maybe. I'm hoping that's sort of right. Oh, I forgot this one, sorry. Break here, break there, break there. So, yeah, I got that one right, that's good. Got this one, oh, I forgot one. Yeah, because this block, this first block over here is back in farther than that one out there, so there should be a break there. If you can sort of get these, well, I'd be thrilled to death, because that's about as far as I can get. Getting the brakes and everything, a little more difficult. Again, if you're better at art, spatial, looking at spatial things, maybe that stuff makes more sense to you than it does to me, then great, you'll probably be better at these. So on this one, make an orthographic drawing. Sorry. So if I'm looking at this, first I'm going to make a top drawing. If I'm looking straight down at it, I see, I'm looking straight down this way, I see 1, 2, 3 blocks, 1, 2, 3 blocks, 1, 2, 3 blocks. So I see this. If you're just looking straight down at it, and there's gonna be some brakes there, and we'll talk about the brakes here in a minute. If I'm on the left-hand side, that'd be back here, looking at it, I see 1, 2, 3 blocks, 1, 2, 3 blocks, and then just one block out here. And remember, it sort of turns around, so it's going to be 3, 3, and then just 1. And then the right, I think that they usually do the front first. Front view, that's if I'm standing over here on the front, looking at it this way. So I see 1, 2, 3. Then here I see 1, 2, 3. And then if I'm looking down this row, I see 1, 2. Then the right view, me standing out here, I look down here, this way I see 1. Here I see, I'm looking down this row, I see 1, 2, 3. And then looking down this row, I see 1, 2, 3. So those are my views. Now to get my brakes, if I'm looking at the top, looking straight down these, well you got 2 blocks, then there's a brake there, there's a brake right there, there's also a brake here, then brake here, brake here, a brake there. This brake is for this right here because it drops down on that one. From that block to that block it drops down. So you got those brakes. If I'm looking at the left, that's back here. Again, there are no real brakes because I just see these 3 and this one block. I don't know that any of the rest of these blocks are there. On the front view, if I'm standing in front, there's a brake here. That's from here to there, it goes in, and then it drops back, and that's actually back in, and then you got crossed here, so cross there, let's see, I do something wrong there, that drops in, I think that's right. And then the right view, looking here, so you got your 1 block, then the second one, there's a brake there, so that's going to be right there, and it drops back in there. And you have a brake going across here because of that brake right there. So something like that. That's an orthographic drawing. Get your art teachers or somebody, get your some of your friends to help you if they're better at the spatial things than I am. Again, if we can get the first part, the brakes, that's where I have a whole lot of trouble. But just the views, understand that there's different views of it, that'd be great. Next thing, nets. Nets allow you to use all the surfaces of a three-dimensional figure in one two-dimensional drawing. A net is a two-dimensional figure that forms the surfaces of a three-dimensional. So if you take that net and you fold it back up, it's going to make that certain shape. This is a pentagonal, we talked about these last time, pentagonal pyramid. And it's a pentagonal pyramid because the base is a pentagon and all the other faces, which there are 5 of them, are triangles. Now this part I can actually do. A pentagonal pyramid is going to look like this if we draw a net. You got your pentagon, and then every other face is a triangle. That's the net for a pentagonal pyramid. Remember, if we're finding the surface area of a pentagonal pyramid, then we want this net because we find the area of all these faces separately and then add them all up. This is a rectangular prism. And if we were going to draw this as a net, we might draw something like, maybe this is the bottom down here that we can't see. Then we got another rectangle coming out, another rectangle coming out, another rectangle down here, and then we have the ends, maybe that come out something like this. It doesn't really matter where the ends come out, one on each side, but what does matter is that those 2 ends are exactly the same on a rectangular prism. So your net might look something like that. And again, we would use that, find the area of this rectangle, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, add them all up, and that's going to give us the total surface area of that rectangular prism. Identify the solid that is represented by the net, then find its surface area. Remember that this is telling us that this is the height of that triangle. That's a right angle. That little box tells us that's a right angle there. First thing to identify this shape, if we folded this all back up, we have this triangle, that triangle, fold up the ends, fold up the other 2, what we would have is a triangular prism. Triangular prism. It's a prism because these other 3 faces are all rectangles. The bases, that's a base of the entire 3-dimensional figure. So it's a triangular prism. Now all we're going to do is find the area of each of these faces. Got to remember, for area of a rectangle is just base times height. Area of a triangle is 0.5 or 1/2 times base times height. So for this rectangle, this top one right here, base times height, well, one of the lengths is 10, the other one's 20, so it's just going to be 10 times 20, which is 200, and it's inches squared because it's area. If we look at this rectangle here, that's 20 times 16, which is 320 inches squared. And then this bottom one down here, it's 20 by 10 or 10 by 20, whichever way you want to say it. So 20 times 10, which is 200 inches squared. So those 3 are pretty easy to find. Then we got to find the area of the 2 triangles. Well, the good thing is that since it's a triangular prism, those are the bases. And they always got to be congruent to each other. So we find one and the other one's going to be exactly the same thing. So the area for this one, this is your height. Wherever that right angle sets, that 16 is your base. Remember, that's the base of the triangle. The triangle itself is the base of the entire prism. Don't get the bases confused. So all we do is 0.5 times the base of the triangle, little b, not big B like we had last time. little b, which is 16, and the height this time is 6. And we just multiply all those together. So grab your calculator, and you can punch that in. You get 0.5 times, actually I didn't need my calculator, 0.5 just is half, so half of 16 is 8. 8 times 6 is 48. So the area of this triangle is 48 inches squared, and the area of this one, 48 inches squared. Then all we're going to do to find the surface area is add all those up. 200 plus 320 plus 200 plus 48 plus 48. We add all those up. Let's see, we get 720. That's 96. I'm just trying to add this without grabbing my calculator. That's 6. Carry the 1. That's 12. 800. Hopefully I did all that right. 826, and since it's surface area, it's still inches squared. So if this was something that we were sewing together, it would take 826 square inches of material to put that together. Identify the platonic solid that is represented by the net. Again, remember this is something we talked about these solids a little bit last time. If we look at this, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. There's 20 triangles, and they're all equilateral triangles, so they're all exactly the same. And if you look back at your notes, probably the one that last time in the other video I said I couldn't pronounce very well, it's an icosahedron. Hopefully I spelled it right. Icosahedron. That's probably not pronouncing it right, but draw a net for each. First one, we got this, I don't know if this is a square or a rectangle, we'll just call it a rectangular pyramid. Well, all that's going to be, you got a rectangle or a square, then on each side you have a triangle. Remember, this is your base. These other sides are called your lateral faces. This sort of looks like it's a cube. Well, to draw a cube, we're going to have something like this, and it should have 6 faces. So another one there, and we could put the other one right across from it. It could be, you know, at any of these spots. It doesn't really matter when you break it all down, but it should have 6 total faces. And if it is a cube, then all these faces are exactly the same. This one, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is a hexagonal prism. And if we draw this, it's going to have 6 rectangles. So I'm just going to draw 6 rectangles here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And they look like they're probably all the same. If our hexagon here is a regular hexagon, then they would all be the same. Well, then we're just going to have a hexagon on each side. And it looks something like that. And again, you could have put one hexagon there and this other one could have been over here or something. Doesn't make any difference as long as one's on one side of the 6 rectangles and one's on the other side. Those are our nets. Draw a net that represents the 3-dimensional figure. So So if I'm looking at this figure, sorry. If I was to cut it and lay it out, so it's just two-dimensional, I would probably start going around with these faces. They all look like they're rectangles, and there should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, it looks like. So you got 5 rectangles. And let's draw it better than that. See if I can sort of draw it. If I draw this side, then if I draw this, it looks like it's a little longer. Then I draw this other side over here. Well, it's probably the same as that one, so we'll try to make it about the same. Then if I draw the other back side over here, it looks like it's probably about the same as that one. Then we got the bottom. Well, the bottom looks like it's sort of really long, so maybe something like that. So we got all those laid out. Then what you have is you have this front and the back side that have to be hooked here somewhere, where this time they need to be, I guess it really doesn't matter, but probably the best place to draw them is if I cut this right here, and I cut it here, and I cut it here, and I cut it here, then it's just gonna sort of lay down like a flap there. Well, that's gonna be off the bottom right here, and it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sided. So from here it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the fifth side is there. And then the other one on the other side, on the back side, should look exactly the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mine doesn't look too great, but so if I was to draw it a little smaller, so maybe we can see it a little better. It would look something about like that. That's our net. And again, modeling stuff. We drew a geometrical figure to represent this tent, a real life thing, or a real world thing. That's your assignment, page 125, 1 through 7, 9 through 23, 25, and 26.